our topic about the ornaments. So the first ornament is the grace note or acciaccatura. Next one is appoggiatura, leaning note, mordent, turn, trill, and arpeggiation. Let's see with you the first. Acciaccatura or grace note or crash note. It always the small tiny note next to the quaver, and it always going to be performed shorter as we can. So we have to use it in time of demi-semi-quaver is the best performance for it. It the cross tiny note next to the big one, and we always take it in time of the demi-semi-quaver. Yes, in this case we have to add the demi-semi-quaver and dotted semi-quaver next to it. Next one, appoggiatura. Appoggiatura looks similar as like the acciaccatura, just it has another name, leaning note we will name it, and for it we will not cross it. So the previous one we had crossed. Leaning note always gives for us the half, so it tells us that we have to divide our two notes on two even halves. If it's quaver, on two semiquavers. If it's crotchet, on two quavers. If we have with you it next to the dotted crotchet, we have to memorize that the leaning note takes longer time than the main note. In this time they will going to be swapped in timing. Next one, we have mordent. Mordent, upper mordent and lower mordent. Upper mordent is the zigzag written above the note. All the ornaments going to be always written above the notes. So upper mordent. Upper mordent, we have always to start to write from the main note above the zigzag, and it tells us that we take main note, note above, and go back to the main note. Usually we have with you it as like demi-semi-quaver value. Lower mordent looks same way, just it going to be when we have to write it above the note, we have to cross it. In this case, it tells us that we have main note, note lower, and then back to the note itself, and the rhythm to demi-semi-quaver and dotted quaver. Turn, upper turn and lower turn. Usually we will going to use with you only the upper turn, and we will name it the turn only. But you have to know both of these directions. So turn, in this case, it always going to be written above the note, this curved line, and we take with you note above, note itself, note below, note itself. We have to use and imitate the turn sign, and we have to use it in time of the semiquavers, in time of the crotchet. If it's smaller, of the note going to be smaller. Sometimes we can find with you the turn between the notes. So for example, we have with you two notes and the turn written in between. It tells us that we have to turn around the first note. So we have to turn around the note B in our case. So we have with you to rewrite note B, then the turn around it, and then to return to the note C. The note C we leave untouchable, and all of this turn going to be in time of the first beat. Inverted turn or lower turn, it's exactly the same one, just it used upside down movement. So we have to write it crossed, the same like the lower mordent, and we use note below, note itself, note above, note itself. It's the lower turn. Next one, we have with you the trill or shake note. Trill or shake note is the rapid shake of the principal note. So we have with you two options for it. The main one, and usually the main one is going to be with the use of the 9 notes and with the turn at the end. So we have to take note itself, then to shake it with the note above. It's going to be around 8 notes, yes? So it's the simpler version of the trill. So when we used with you regularly 8 demi-semiquavers in time of the crotchet, so always it's the note itself and note above it. If plus the turn, we have to use with you 9 notes. So we used with you at the end the imitation of the turn, note above, note itself, note below, and note itself. And the easiest way to memorize it is to use the trill in between. So 4 notes, 3 notes, and 2 notes. Arpeggiation. Arpeggiation, we have to memorize that it's quick spread the notes from the bottom, from the lower to the upper. So we have with you to play it as like the fast arpeggio, like usually play pianists on their piano lessons. So we have with you the zigzag and just memorize that it's going to be fast spread the notes. So the next our task, we have to name the ornaments. So the first we can find and compare with our table that the first is the trill, this next one is the lower mordent. After we have with you the turn, then turn again. This is not crossed, so we have to name it like leaning note. Next is trill, then grace note, two mordents, and please continue these all tasks by yourself, okay? Actually, this one is the same. Next task, we have to write the ornaments in the bracket. So acciaccatura, it's the crossed one, appoggiatura not crossed. Mordent, mordent upper, and arpeggiation, trill tr, turn, inverted mordent, it's the same like crossed, and lower turn as well crossed. The next task, we have to write the turn on over the arrows. So the next one, always we have to memorize with you that the ornament is going to be written above the notes. Anyway, acciaccatura going to be used with the upper note. So we write with you it everywhere and cross. Next one, we have to again to continue this task, just carefully follow the ornaments which they ask us to write. Complete this task by yourself, please. And the last one, we need to identify the best way to perform it. The turn. Note above, note itself, note below, and note itself. So we can find with you that the first option is the best way to imitate the turn. Next one is the leaning note, because it's not crossed. We always remember that leaning note divide our note on two even halves. In this case, it's going to be two crotchets. Now grace note because this tiny small note is the crossed one, and usually we use it in time of demi-semiquaver. Yeah, so let's see where we can find with you the note E as like the demi-semiquaver. It's the third example. Next one is the lower mordent, so because it crossed, and the lower mordent take note itself, note below, and note itself, and we have to find it in time of the dotted crochet. Next one, please complete by yourself. And next example, we have already written them out, but we now need to identify them, how they should be. We have them written out, but we need to write them like a sign. So we need to find the turn, trill, and all other performance directions. So we have the ornaments written here. Yes, upper and lower mordent, then upper and lower turn. We remember that the turn can be written over the note, between the notes as well. Sometimes we can find it with the sharps. So if it's above, it's the note above. If it's below, it's the note below. Lower turn going to be crossed. And then trill, we have the shake note or plus the turn at the end. And arpeggiation at the as like the last. Let's see how we can identify it. So this one we can find with you B, D, and C. This ornament note, we can tell that this one is our grace note because it's a very short note, the shortest which we can find with you. So this is the grace note, and you can see how they wrote it down. So treble clef, two sharps. You remember it's D major or B minor. So we rewrite with you everything, and we find with you the first ornament place. Two equal notes. Two equal notes usually is the leaning note. We remember that the leaning note subdivide our note on two equal parts. So it's going to be C and D, and it's going to be in time of one beat. So in time of crochet, all other we rewrite like it is. Next one is the A sharp and B, no changes. Then semiquaver notes, it's going to be with the sharp of A, so its scale is B minor. And now this, we can find with you D, C, D. So it's look the similar like the lower mordent. So the main note is D, and it's going to be all in time of one beat again. So in time of crochet, and we have to write with you the sign. Yes, so it's the lower mordent. You remember that for the lower mordent we used cross zigzag. Next, we can see that next one is note above, note itself, note below, and note itself, and it has the natural sign underneath. So in this case, this is the turn, and we have with you it over the note B. Yes, this natural sign tells us that the lower note, so we have to add the natural sign below the turn. All other we rewrite, and we can find another bracketed ornament in the next bar. It's again the turn. We can find that it's again turn around the first note E. Then all other we rewrite like it is, and we have to add with you the turn in between. Next one, we have with you F sharp, note B, and now you can find that it's the shake one which trill. Yes, we can find with you these demi-semiquavers, and let's see which note is repeated more than others. We can find that the note C repeated more than other notes, so we have to write the C trill above it. All other we have to else identify that all of these notes, they are in time of quaver and then semiquaver. So altogether it's dotted quaver. And to a note after it, it's B and C. They are additional. So we have to write them next to it. So next all we rewrite. Write without the changes. Add all performance direction. The rest, the all other things. And the last bar again gives for us the ornament. So we can find with you in the bracket again imitation of the turn. So usually the most useful for us going to be the turn. And here we have with you with the sharp next to the lower note, so we can write with you sharp underneath. And to complete this example, add all performance direction. Next one is bass clef, 4 flats, B, E, A, D, time signature 2, 4, and we start to rewrite with you, and we are looking for the first bracketed ornament. First bar without it, this bar, it's B, C, and B, A, and B. Oh, sorry, B, C, and B. So here I wrote incorrect. So just carefully, the main note is B, it's upper mordent. Then we have with you this in time of the one quaver, so we leave it as like the quaver. Next note is A, and then B. We join them, write triplet. Next one we rewrite with you as like it is. Then we have with you note C, G, tie with the G. One more ornament note with the 3 tails. It's demi-semiquaver, which gives for us the reason about the grace note. Grace note is the small tiny note which is crossed next to the main note, and it's going to be written in between, going to be crossed. The last is going to be the triplet, and we complete this example. In grade number 5, you have to identify them only. You no need to know how to write them out. So only please complete these tasks and send me on my email. Thank you.